seen anything. So we'll see. We'll see. Got a couple of minutes, so we'll let people roll in, and then we'll get started. Hey, Chantal, if you want to start the streaming, that's okay. Okay. So I think I'm going to come into the room a minute early. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to the U.S. Jobs Report. We're also Canada's Jobs Report. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. Please trade carefully. So what's fascinating about the jobs reports, the U.S. jobs report, there's really a lot of different indexes that you can trade. You know, I went back and I looked at what we were doing in 2019. And in 2019, we had a really good euro setup. And I checked the euro recently. And if, you know, I think the euro is tradable. If someone wanted to test the euro, I would test it with a 12 bracket, not a 10, an entry at 59, and then targets 10 to 25, and probably a stop of 18. But the euros had some good moves. What's interesting about the euro is it's only $6.25 a tick. So the numbers we're looking at, hold on. Why is average hourly earnings released? That can't be correct. That would not be correct. See it here? So I'm just going to look at something real quick. I'm going to check my time sync right now. And I go to time.is and my time is in sync. Good morning, Derek. My time is in sync. So what's interesting is bonds are pretty flat. I'm assuming gold. When I looked at gold quite a while ago, it was pretty flat. The big number we're looking at is non-farm payrolls. They're expecting 400,000. And the unemployment rate is important also. And then Canada, the employment change number is their big number. I'll probably keep the news off to the side and bring it in after the trade because I want to see the full charts, especially if I trade Canada. I always come in to this day thinking I'm going to trade Canada. And then I decide, well, I really want to just concentrate on my US trade. And I almost want to look at oil. Very good, Joe. I'm glad you got the time going. So one more time, I'm going to post the Canada setup if you want to trade it. Canada's $5 a tick. It's been working really well on US job report days. It's been working very well. But I think what I want to do is watch gold on the US because I think a lot of people are probably going to trade gold. A lot of our trades are gold, Joe, but not all. Not all. I'm trading bonds this morning. I'm trading ZM. Gold is an option, okay? Gold moves a lot. It's been harder to trade last year. Gold got tough last year. That's interesting, Joe. You're absolutely right. When this company first started, every trade was CL. When I go back and look at the earliest trades, every trade was CL. Oil was over 100. Oil moved on every single report. And it was crazy. That's crazy if you think about it. Absolutely crazy. Let's go over the DMM. Okay, if you're trading gold, and look, read this because gold is hard. Okay, for the reasons stated in the DMM. Now, look, everybody should get the DMM and read it and study it the day before. This DMM should not be a surprise to you today. It should not be a surprise, okay? So I'm really going to insist, if this DMM is a surprise to you today, then you shouldn't be trading, okay? You should be practicing because it means you're not paying attention properly. That's the truth. And yes, I'll give you a hard time. If you don't read the DMM the day before, unless I don't post it, then you're not doing your homework. That's the bare minimum that you must do. Be familiar with the setups. That's why we put it out the day before. I want to put them out the week before. So one of the problems with gold, thin volume, slippage, and instability, okay? It can be very shifty and frenetic leading up to the release. So I traded gold last month, and I'm going to go back to my bonds. Bonds got stopped out last month. Okay. So I'm going to set up my bond trade. Now, I'm not saying don't trade gold. Gold gives you a better profit because it definitely moves better. It definitely moves better than bonds. And maybe next month I'll trade the euro. So my setup on bonds, and don't match my exact setup. I'm using a bracket of 4. I use a slightly bigger bracket. 3 is a little small for me. And then I'm using a first target of only 3 ticks because I'm trading pretty heavy. And then I use a target of 7 ticks. And then I use a target of 13 ticks. And my stop is 6 ticks. And my entry time is 8:29. 59. It's a breakout trade. I labeled the trade. So I'm only going to watch my bond. I'm only trading bonds today. I'm just trading one trade. I always say I'm going to trade Canada at the same time. But I think I really like to concentrate on the U.S. jobs report. I've posted Canada in the chat multiple times if you want to trade the Canadian setup. But I'm probably going to watch the gold chart this morning because I think a lot of people might be trading gold. Bracket of 4. My first target is small, just 3, then 7, then 13. My stop is 6. And my entry time is 8:29:59. I'm tempted to go 8:30. I'm tempted to go 8:30. Now, what would you do if you were trading gold? So Canada, let me go over Canada for everybody. Joe, you want to trade the euro for me? You want to trade the euro in sim? You want to test it for me? Yeah, 6E 322. 6E 322. Sim, of course. I don't know if you can record it, Joe, or not. That's asking a lot last minute, so don't sweat it. So use 6E 0322. Use a bracket of 12, a target of 8, and a target of 20. A stop of 15, 8, 20, and 15. And an entry time, tell you what, let's do a real crazy test. 8:30, even, 830.300. All right. Now, Lou, NQ, it's going to move, but I haven't tested it, Lou, in a long time. So the big issue is surviving before the news comes out, Lou. So for me, if I were going to trade the NQ, Lou, I'll tell you the honest truth. I don't think today is the day that I would trade the NQ live because I haven't tested it enough. But I would use a 14 bracket. I would use a 14 bracket. I'd want a really big bracket. And that's not even that big. Now, if I were trading the ES, I would use an 11 or 12 tick bracket. And again, ES is not tested enough. I think this coming month, we're going to do some extra testing for the jobs report because I know not everybody wants to trade gold and not everybody wants to trade bonds. So I think what I'll try to do is alternative setups for NQES. I think I have the euro set up. David, just very honestly, because it's a nice trade. I've been doing it for 2 years. Bonds move on this report. Everything moves on this report. Bonds generally over the past couple of years have been moving. What's the word I'm looking for? Not crazy, not crazy. So I'm going to watch US gold. Now, look at the market. Flat. It's down. Now it's down from, an hour ago, but the market's down. Okay. I mean, the market's flat. If you look at the NQ, it's up 70 ticks. NQ you want to look at, so divide 4 into 70, okay? Divide 4 into 70. And if you're watching on YouTube, folks, why don't you give us a like, subscribe to the channel. The ES, $18 ticks. For ES is not exploding up or down today, so you know ES is waiting for a move this morning. ZB, lousy liquidity, lousier fills. David, ZB's been very challenging. I love ZB. We used to trade ZB for this. So don't forget the gold open. Remember my magnet trade, gold's going to test the low. Don't forget the gold open. So let's talk about what if you're trading gold. 12 bracket for gold, okay? Our first target is 15, our second target is 30. If I were personally trading gold, I would make my first target somewhere around 8. And I'd probably use 3 positions, 8, 18, and 50. 8, 18, and 40, you know, something like that. And be prepared to manage the trade. The stop is 20. Gold is high risk. High risk. Entry time, 8:29.59. I think you can enter gold at 8:30. But our report's 8:29.59. So I'm going to watch gold. I'm going to watch gold. And then one last time, the Canada setup, if you want to trade Canada, G6C 0322. Bracket at 10, stop is 15, entry time is 8:30. Targets of 6 and 20. You could use 8 and 35, manage out of the trade. It may not go 35 ticks. It might, but it might not. You can use anything between, you know, a first target of 8, second target of 23, you know, anywhere between 8 and 40 ticks. It moves. Canada moves. The symbol is 6C 0322. Now, so gold, the bracket is 12. The entry time is 8:29.59. First target on the DMM is 15. I like to shrink it a little bit in case it doesn't follow through. And sometimes you can hit your first target, you know, target at 10 gives you $100 if you fill and reverse and have time to get out. Stop is 20 on gold. Now, the ADP report, which showed a lot of jobs, doesn't have a bearing really on this report. It's up. The data set is not even related. Totally different. So I could keep the news on. I don't know why the average hourly earnings year over year is showing up. I gotta believe that's a mistake. I'm gonna check my time sync again. So I go to the website time.is and it puts me in sync. Puts my computer in sync. Now, probably would not cancel in 10 seconds. I'd probably wait a bit longer for the trade to trigger. Usually that's not even a question on this report. But every now and then we've seen a response that's a little bit slower than normal. I'm turning off my crosshair, so I just have an arrow, a little arrow, a pointer. And don't forget, you have the break even button and the combine button up top. The combine button combines all your orders together, okay? I'm going to keep my news right off to the side. I kind of don't want it in the way of the charts. Now, gold has had quite a bit of pre-trade volatility the past couple of months. I think it moved about 17 ticks last month. Here's last month's report. So I was trading gold last month. I've been trading bonds for over a year on this report. So December 3rd was the report. See, gold had a pretty big upward move before the news. And then bonds didn't have a good report. They looked like they had a great move, but there was a lot of slippage. Gold had a lot of slippage last month, but it still kept moving, and that's what made the trade. Bonds had too much slippage to work last month, which is pretty unusual for ZN. Pretty unusual. And then I think I brought the news in. Yeah. The Canada numbers were amazing, and Canada had a good report. It was delayed, I remember. And the US report was not great. It was a lousy report last month, and that's kind of why the report moved so well. Yeah, that's right, Joe. It'll combine the orders to the order that's closest to the current price. The combine button combines your orders to the order closest to the current price. So I'm hearing in my headset, I can hear financialjuice.com speaking about the report, like numbers they're expecting, payrolls that are expected, what the consensus is. That's really useful. And that's why I like Financial Juice, because they give us info before, during, and after a report. And it's great. So I'm just looking at Forex Factory, right? Average hourly earnings. Now, I don't see that number being released early on any other calendar except on investing.com. For some reason, average hourly earnings has a number in it. I have to believe that's a mistake. So ZN, I'm using a bracket of 4. I'm using targets of 3, 7, and 13. You don't have to use my targets. Use 4, 6, and 12, okay? Use 4, 6, and 12. A stop of 6, and the entry time is 8:29:59. Okay. Now remember I said gold. I think gold's going to test the low. Gold's opening. Gold opened 2 minutes ago. So that's what you're seeing is the gold open. The gold open was at 8:20 and a nice downward move. Probably going to test that low before the trade. So again, the gold open did today what it did yesterday. Gold was trending down before the open, making you think, oh, it's going to open down. But then right before, a couple of minutes before, it starts moving up, making you nervous that you don't want to go short. And then right at the open, it starts to pull down. Now, so gold is only 13 ticks for the day, theoretical day, but it's in a tight range. You can see the high and the low. It's in a pretty tight range. And it was at the high less than an hour ago. Now, normally, but the markets haven't been working normally for the past year or so. When a report is really good, gold tends to push down. When a report is really negative, gold tends to push up. We see it still working that way, but then it tends to follow a trend, a different trend. It doesn't always trade the news trend or move in the news trend. So we have about not even 5 minutes. Any last questions? A lot of people here, very quiet though. Thanks, folks on YouTube. Give us a couple of likes over there, would you? A lot of folks watching us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so you know the next time we're streaming. And then hit the notification bell, right? Hit the notification bell. You'll know the next time we're here. All right, so make sure your mouse is working. Make sure your fingers are working. It's really calm markets, right? Before a jobs report. It's unusual. Pretty unusual. So they're expecting about 400,000 jobs. Everything that I read this week, all the podcasts I was paying attention to. What's interesting is Financial Juice has an expectation of 450,000 jobs. That is a big difference from investing.com. So I hope that we get a big difference in what's expected from what we get. In other words, I'd like to see 500,000, 600,000 jobs, or 300,000. I don't want to see 400, 450. I want it bigger. I want it above 5, below 4. That could help us with a more directional trade. So I'm watching the news off to the side, okay? I do, Derek. That is correct. Derek, I'm just curious, why does it matter? Why does that matter? All right, we got a minute. All right. So U.S. jobs will be the first number I hear in my headset, probably. I think the news is going to be good. That's what I think. I think the news is going to be good. All right. My bracket's going to show up. Oof. Okay, I got stopped. It went up, no follow through. It should have been a fabulous, fabulous trade. Now, I don't know if gold got filled because it looked like a low volume burst. Gold looked like a low volume burst. Very, very, very disappointing that there was no follow through on that trade. No follow through. Now, I didn't do anything. I didn't move my stop. All I did was combine my targets. And now you're getting movement up. Gold is making a new high. So what happened is I got filled at 128.20. And 128.20. High up again on the candle. High up again on the candle. 128.20. So Eric was trading gold in his office and he got a profit of 400. So bonds did not work and gold did. Okay. Bonds did not work and gold did. So that's 2 months in a row that bonds have not worked. ZN. It's 2 months in a row. Now it was very, very negative news. Much lower number of jobs. Much lower number of jobs. So, of course, I'm sorry I traded bonds. Okay. Eric traded gold, made 400. Okay. So give me a roll call. Tell me what you traded and what happened. Bonds didn't give a good fill, went all the way up the candle and did not have a good fill. Yeah, ZN is a loss. ZN is a loss. Micro gold, Michael, you had a loss. I don't like micro gold, especially on a big report like this. I just don't think the liquidity is good enough. But I think it could have been hard to get filled on gold. It looked like a low volume burst. Lou, you had a profit on the NQ. Let's look at the various indexes. I'll probably move away from bonds now because they've had 2 months that they just aren't responding well. At least ZN. So I'm going to look quickly at ZB. So it's hard to tell exactly the timing of. So there's a 30-second chart. ZB kind of looks very close to what my bonds did. The euro sounded like it was a good trade.
Wait, can you hear me? Good morning, everyone. Eric here.
Yeah, can hear you fine.
Hey, everyone. You can hear me fine? Yay.
Yeah.
So I'm on daddy duty, but my kids are behaving. My kid's teacher got sick. No kid. But good morning, everybody. Eric Roth here. So Z, I know you traded bonds. Did anyone else?
Yep.
Was anyone else able to make money on bonds? Do we know?
I don't think it was possible to make money on bonds. I don't think it was possible. Well,
So
Wally did. Actually, Wally said he got filled and had a 4-tick better fill than me.
Yeah.
And that would have made the difference.
Yeah, one thing that I was listening to the recap, pull up the news, the actual results, because it was actually a disappointing jobs report.
Yeah, it was a terrible report. I put the news up. It was a very bad report. What's interesting is Canada was good. Did anyone trade Canada?
Well, just focusing on the U.S. jobs for right now. Yeah. You see that they predicted 426,000 jobs and only 199,000 jobs were created. So that, so we got the variance that we wanted, right? Because it's not that we want a good jobs report, right? I'm covering the fundamentals. We wanted a variance and we got it, right? It was a big variance. And that's why with the negative news, and if you want to pull up my gold trade, right? There's an inverse relationship for gold. And so that's why gold shot up. It shot up. And I was listening to you talking about gold was like near the low. So who knows, you learn stuff over the years, and sometimes it gives you an edge when the news goes in one way. So since gold was kind of lower on the lower end, it had a good trajectory. Am I making sense to you, Lee?
The real truth, Eric, because gold was flat today. I mean, literally, it was flat.
It was?
It was so not volatile before the trade. I mean, sometimes what happens is gold opens at 820, so it tends to test a lower high. But I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but I just don't think what it's doing before makes a difference on this report.
Yeah,
honestly.
Well, gold is actually reversing right now. Anyone who's looking to do a reversal of gold is reversing. No, but if you look at the gold chart at 7:30, all the way going to the for 1 hour, it trended down, went up and down. But regardless,
it was trending down an hour before we got. It started trending down like half hour before we got here.
Yeah. So let me do a recap of my report. I just want to make sure that it's very important to know to have the fundamentals down of understanding, okay, if I'm trading gold, if there's positive news, I'm expecting gold to go in which direction, right? And so in this case, I'll just go over one more time. We had negative, right? Negative, there was less jobs than created, and gold went north like it should have. So Here's the trade. I see you pulling it up. I traded 4 contracts. I think my first target was 7. My second target was 16, and then my third target was 36. And I was trading 4 contracts actually. You're gonna see a very similar story to the ADP. Watch what I did. I hit the combined button once I saw that I was in the green, and then I hit the break even button as well. So I'm using the tools. If you want to pause the video right there, I like to make my life simpler. I used to be, back in the day, very quick, right? Back in the day, I'm talking 10 years ago, not so easy to grab 4 profit targets. So I don't fumble, I don't fluster. 2 clicks. I hit the combine function once I saw that I was in the green. Okay, watch right now. I don't hit it yet, or you see, I still have. Once I see that I'm in the green, I hit the combine. I hit break even. Did you see that, Lee?
Yeah, it's so fast, it's hard to see it.
Yeah, pause, and I'll break it down one more time. And afterwards, I want to switch the focus back to members and really understand how everyone did. Okay, so hold on right there. Pause right there. Okay, so I didn't get filled yet. Are we in agreement, Lee? You're watching the tape. But this is like, doing a referee review on a call, right?
Target not filled.
Right. Yeah, and excuse the background noise, guys. Kids watching TV. All right, so basically, play it out a little bit. Okay, so actually, I think I did get both of mine filled right there. The first 2 targets did get filled without me right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that was 7 and 16. What happened? Oh, you pulled it back.
Yeah, watch.
So I think
both targets got filled right there.
Yeah, and I saved myself. I think I did.
It almost looks like your third target got filled.
Yeah. No, I think I saved myself. I think what I did was, in the end, what really helped me was just the break-even function, because it was starting to crawl back. And guys who are watching too, members, like to get your analysis too, because I didn't even have a chance to process. I wanted to just share with you guys my results. But I'm looking at the trade room now. Wally, I see, made $280 net. Oh, you traded gold and ZN. Very brave, Wally. AJ made wow, a lot of folks trading live on multiple instruments, which of course I never advise. Right? It's like fishing on 2 poles. It's hard to do, but good job. You don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. So in AJ's case, I think he traded 3. AJ, is that right? You lost on the bonds, you made money on gold, and you also made money on NQ. Excellent.
AJ, what setup did you use on the NQ? What bracket did you use?
And Edmund made 450 on gold. Anybody else? Weldon, listen, it stinks, but I know you could. Lee, I'm sorry if I'm talking over you, just because of the background noise. I'm gonna go in 1 second.
Correct, Joe.
My messaging to everybody is, I know that there's a lot of new members here, a lot of folks watching on YouTube live. We had a fantastic week this week. Lee, if I'm not mistaken, we had a tiny loss on API, and technically this trade, in my opinion, was not a loser. I mean, yes, you did lose money on bonds, but we had multiple ways to trade, right? And so we traded both ways. I traded gold. So in truth, the only report, like from a standpoint of not bad choices, I think it was just API that was right. Is that right? Everything else was a winner.
There was no other loser this week.
Okay. I could barely hear you on my end, Lee. So basically, we had a fantastic week, a lot of great trades. So I'm really happy to see that a lot of folks joined us. A great time, a great cycle. Between today's trade that I made $400 on and ADP, that's it. I only traded 2 family money trades, just like we talked about just focusing on family money trades. And I'm up 610 for the week, right? For 20 seconds of work. So for those of you who traded bonds today, it stinks, but I'm telling you, I've been there too. How many times I'm like, oh, why didn't I trade this? So trust me, I get what you're feeling today. You'll have another chance next time. And you know what? maybe there's something to be said about learning the skill set of trading multiple indexes. With that said, I just want to say happy to have everyone with us. And Lee, I'm going to turn it back to you. We're not leaving. I'm leaving. But just want to make sure just personal welcome to everyone. Okay, guys, we have some big trades coming up. I think David just mentioned WASD coming up. So, yeah, happy to be with you guys. Lee, I'm going to go. Okay.
Okay. Good job.
Thanks, Lee. I'll talk to you later. Great job. Great job, everybody.
Calvin, you say you had bad trades all week, trading gold or NQ? Were you trading the same way that we were? I'm just curious. Next week is WASD and ADP was GC today, ZN. Sorry about that, Calvin. Sorry about that. Well, I think ZN we should be done with. I think for a couple of months we'll take ZN off on bonds. It hasn't been working, which is a shame because it's been for almost 2 years. It's been very, very solid, very solid. And did anybody use a bracket trade on the NQ? Bracket trade on the NQ. Okay, Jeff, Canada, we never looked at Canada's move. Canada had a very good move. Now, I bet that a fair amount of it was slipped because Canada's low liquidity. Canada is low liquidity. So I'm just looking to see your comments. Wally, you got a really good ZN fill. You got a really good ZN fill. My ZN fill was terrible. Jeff, yeah, Canada, huge slippage. We're not uncommon for Canada, not uncommon. And euro, one more time, I wanted to look at the euro. So, I mean, the euro had a looks like a good move. The question is how much was slipped on the euro. But I think a good enough move, even if there was slippage, it would burst through your targets easily. All right, folks. So I didn't do the schedule yet for next week. So gold was a nice winner. Almost everybody that traded gold had a good, solid trade. So I'm sorry I traded bonds. Bonds have been working really well for me. And I also felt because they didn't work last month, that increases the probability of them working this month. And sometimes it doesn't work. So you have to wait and you get your money back. So gold filled, but you had to get out of gold quick. You didn't want to sit in a gold trade. If your targets were huge, it would have been a problem. Gold could have been tricky if your targets were huge. Okay. Definitely could have been difficult. All right. So folks, keep an eye on your email. Keep an eye on the website for the schedule. I'll be doing it today. I haven't even looked at it for next week. Haven't even looked at it yet. But I know that WASD. Now, I thought WASD was the 14th. No, it's the 12th. Okay. WASD is big this coming week because it trades with quarterly grains. WASD is with quarterly grains. It's a very potentially big trade. Okay. So any last questions? If not, I'll see everybody back here Not sure if we'll be here Monday. Let's look at the schedule real quick. Look at the calendar. For next week. I can give you an idea when we'll be here. So next week, click on next week. So I don't see a trade. I'll look at Australia retail, but it hasn't been doing anything. So I don't see Monday. I don't see anything on Monday. Wow, it can't be this quiet of a week. It looks like a really quiet week for news. I don't see anything Tuesday, but I'll go through all the calendars. Wednesday, WASD doesn't usually show up on the chart. We have CPI on Wednesday. PPI on Thursday. 8:30 will be PPI. It's kind of a quiet week next week. WASD is on the 12th. Retail sales, 8:30 on Friday. Now, I know I have a doctor appointment next Friday. I'm going to have to change it, change the time. University of Michigan. Fridays looks a little busy, a little bit busy. Capacity utilization. So there's a bunch of trades Friday. Thursday, Wednesday, Monday and Tuesday look a little quiet, but I'll make the schedule. And right, next week will be WASD week. Love to see a great WASD trade next week. You can make your month. Yes, Wednesday is supercharged WASD. Absolutely. Yeah, I actually like to trade two instruments. I really do. I like to trade two instruments. All right, folks. So sorry about bonds. Don't let it get you down. You know, I lost today. I never let it get me down. Trading family money trades since April, my account is way up. It's way up, even with some tough losers. So you got to just keep on keeping on with the good trades. They'll pay. So everybody have a good weekend, and I'll see everybody next week. You'll get the schedule on Sunday, and I'll see everybody soon. Okay, folks. Have a good weekend. I'll see you all later.